So we enter a new month. You know, it almost feels like March was so long ago, right? And in the conversations that I've been having with a lot of entrepreneurs, one of the things, the prevailing themes that keeps coming up is the conversation around like, what is the story that you're writing, either literally or even figuratively, about this time and how you and your team and your business and your clients really come out on the other side of it. I mean, rest assured, there will be a story. The question will be whether it's going to be an interesting one, an exciting one, a depressing one, a story of underdogs overcoming adversity. I mean, you really decide. And the thought is, let's say somebody wanted to make a really interesting story, and they wanted to really crank up the difficulty. So, as an example, they would potentially put the country in a state of emergency. Local businesses, local government organizations, courthouses, let's say, shut them down. Everyone's now they've got to work from home, whether you set up to work remotely or not. So all teams are now working remotely. Clients can't come in to visit you. There's great uncertainty about the future. People aren't spending money in the same way because they don't have new money coming in. And you couple all those things, and basically someone says, "All right, make it work, go." And that's essentially what we're dealing with. I mean, you've had the difficulty cranked up on you. I think the only, I guess, the only bright side of all this is that the difficulty has been cranked up on everyone. So it's, I think the business owners and the business leaders that are able to embrace this period of adversity and really align their organizations, perhaps pivot in some ways that they may need to, will come out stronger. And how we spend this time is really going to dictate how our businesses, what they look like on the other side of this. And it's the other side of this is like you hang in there for several weeks, and you believe there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and then recently you come to find out, well, we're going to be quarantined for at least another month. So it's almost like you're almost done running the marathon, and they say, all right, you're about to get to the finish line, 20 more miles. I think these are the things that potentially I notice a lot of business owners were really discouraged over the last few days, because there's this wave of, you almost go through like grief and then acceptance, but then it comes back, and these stages don't always go sequentially. Sometimes they go in various orders. But the thing that I can say, and in speaking to our organization, is to reinforce keeping your foot on the gas, because this time can be instrumental in getting better and coming out better. Now is really the time to improve your organization, to improve your relationships within your team, your culture, your processes with your clients. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. I was speaking to a business leader the other day, and a lot of the things that they wish they would have had time for, that they always wanted to make time for, improving things in terms of internal workflows and processes and auditing and all these different things, they suddenly have time for. So they're getting caught up on all these items, and they're hitting their quarterly rocks early, all these different things that are now taking place that allow their business to get better. And as a result of this, when this all passes, they will come out a stronger organization with a competitive edge. I really believe that this is the time where there's clear separations within the marketplace that happen. So you see like market leaders who used to be market leaders, but coming out of this, you have new challengers. You really see a big shift. If companies, some that were ahead, that were strategic, get further ahead potentially. But I really view this as an opportunity for challengers in particular. The other thing I would say is that we talked about this morning in our morning huddle about the difference between the best and number two, between number one and number two. And it's very rare that you ever remember second place. And the reality is, if you want to do things at a very high level, this is the time to really focus on making your business great. This is the time to optimize. This is the time to be creative. I think businesses are tested. You get to determine how great your leadership team is. You get to determine how great and committed your team members are. All these different things that you discover in periods of adversity that you really don't see in the same way in periods of prosperity. So it can be very enlightening and provide you with opportunities to make things better. We've noticed holes in our process that we perhaps wouldn't have otherwise noticed. Areas that we're going to be, we've significantly improved in coming out of this. We've leveraged new technology, all these different things that we're very grateful for now because we've had a chance to really stop, slow down, look around, gain clarity, develop a great plan, and make adjustments. There's many initiatives, even this video that you're watching with a lot of this content I'm sure you guys have been seeing, that may not have, one, it may not have happened until much, much later, or it may not have happened at all, but events like this were the catalyst to really move it forward. So the team really rallied together and has been making it happen. So we're tremendously grateful for that. But what I would tell you is, in terms of improving your organization, oftentimes, I hear a lot of like what you can't do, we can't do this, we can't do that. That would be unrealistic, that would be unreasonable, all these different things. But to be quite honest, what I realize in my experience is we have absolutely no idea what we are capable of. I think we index to a certain point of what we have achieved previously or what our expectations would be. But I'm hearing from firms that even in a time like this, with all the barriers, with all the limitations, with all the same things going on, they are finding ways to make these some of their most successful months, in spite of it all, regardless of practice area. So what if this month was your most successful month in the history of your law firm? And if that were the case, would that change your perspective over what is possible and what is not? And that's something we've challenged our team. We're like, what would need to happen in order for this to be the most successful month and the most successful April in the history of the company? And sometimes when you talk this way, people look at you and say, well, that's delusional, that's unreasonable, unrealistic. It may very well be, but it's not unattainable. It is 100% doable. And when you accomplish things that you previously did not believe that were possible, when you gain the new capabilities to really stretch your organization, to grow to a new level, not only do you gain confidence, but now you raise the bar even further. So whatever adversity you're experiencing, if you overcome that, and when you overcome that, now not only have you built confidence, but you've operated at a higher level that becomes the new normal, that it does not become unreasonable anymore. That becomes, well, that's just how we do it. And then you raise the bar and further raise the bar. One of the things that we're very excited about that we were going to actually push out further, but during this period of time, we're like, you know what? This is something that we wanted to get out in front of people sooner. We believe that the messaging can be very beneficial just for firms across the nation, and that was launching our podcast. So we weren't actually going to launch this for several more weeks, but we expedited the timeline, and I'm very excited to announce the Game Changing Attorney podcast. This is something where we interview not only really phenomenal guests, but the insights of market leaders. And the first podcast is with John Morgan. We also have upcoming podcasts coming up with Chris Voss, the FBI's #1 hostage negotiator. He's the former lead FBI kidnapping negotiator. Cy Wakeman, Hal Elrod, and countless others. The conversations we've been having over the last several weeks have been just absolutely, transformational, and we can't wait to share those insights. If you're interested in listening to the podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes or Spotify. You can also go to gamechangingattorney.com. So that's something we're very, very excited, and I'd love your feedback on it whenever you get a chance to check it out. But I will leave you with this, and then coming back all full circle. This is a new month, and we're all constantly writing our life story and our business story. And imagine the amazing story that you can tell, not only when your business weathers this storm, but you come out stronger on the other end. And that's something not only builds great confidence, but it makes everybody more united. And who knows what could be possible if you can succeed in spite of all these challenges and barriers. Imagine how successful you can be once all this passes. So I wish you guys nothing but success, and I look forward to next time.